All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the Monday First Look Show here for the Scottish Open this week with my guy Hoopster here as always. We're back. Hoop, bring you in, man. How was your week? Davis Thompson week.
Yeah, I mean, we've been on Davis Thompson for a while, and he got the job done. And one of my highest owned guys personally last week, fell a little short. I mean, I had a couple sweats. I mean, I had a top 10 team for a while in the 555, and I had like a top 2 or 3 top 100 teams in the big lottery, and fell a little short. But I feel like we're on a lot of the right pieces. I know a lot of members had success. A member picked up the first King of the Beach ticket, which is not King of the Desert, right? King of the Desert ticket, which is a big accomplishment. So it was a good week for the community. I think a solid week for the content as well. And we get another, I guess this is kind of like a signature event essentially this week, and then we get the major next week. So a lot of good stuff in the near future for PGA DFS fans for sure.
Yeah, we got a lot on the go coming up, and I apologize. I did get a new mic. I'm just going to tell people this now because I'm a little bit self-conscious of it here. It's probably going to go out again. Hoop and I figured pre-show the cable or the box that I'm going to swap out. So when it goes, Hoop, you can just call out Mike. But we got a lot to cover here quick. Shout out to our guy Kevin, first in, said thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Always appreciate you watching. If you guys are just joining, like on the way in. Subscribe to the channel. We did the big giveaway at 7,000. We're going to do another one at 8,000. But just to go through it, Hoop, you talked about the success of the community, and it was just another big week. 20K, $80 into 10K in baseball, 10K Badlands, 10K in PGA, Shalhoub, 43,600 combined.
Right, and an incredible human being. I mean, that guy was great to meet in Detroit. Just such a good dude. Had a lot of fun hanging with him and meeting him. So well deserved. He's the man. Yeah,
he's up here all the time. Excellent dude. Just like I said, got to meet him in Detroit, so that was awesome. Rex Hardbody. It was 35,000. He had 15 in for second in one and won 20,000 in the other one. Ice J got the first seat. This was, said he was at the Padres game. Disappointed coming back home. Forgot to check the phone. Look at these buy-ins. 33, 18, 29. Picks up the King of the Desert seat. Picks up a 555 seat. Really what we talk about all the time. It's in the PGA course. It's just playing these satellites to get after it. Red Sea got first and third place in Showdown for 27,000. Phil Smart, 10,000. Look at the ROI, $112 into 10,200 in MLB. Just absolutely crushed. Talking about that, the Stone and the projections. Badland Bears got the 10 grand on the 4th of July. Happy 4th to everyone that celebrated. Ricardo just continues to dominate the Captain Showdown mode and the Showdown mode in general. WS23, I think it was his 3rd or 4th ticket to the Mega Milli now for the Open. Coming up, B-Wald got an 888 ticket and some cash. Just keeps going on. MN Holla, $2,100. Our guy Degenerate, $2 grand. Another high Showdown finish. He's been top 5 in this thing every single slate he played over the last week and a half. And this was the second place. Very close. He said another tease. Obviously wants to get that win. And then, Hoop, just to talk about it quick, we definitely got to promote this. Last one I think we'll probably have leading up to NFL. We're almost there. Got some big NFL news coming up soon. We like to tease things here. Big NFL news coming up very soon. We'll let you guys know about that more in the future. But this is going to be the last chance. The Flash trial, it's going to end on Tuesday night. So you have all day today, all tonight, tomorrow, right up till mid-evening tomorrow, the way the site and the payment processor works, to try out the free week trial. You go to the monthly $69 a month plan, get your free week with code FREE15, and it is all access, including Shiptimizer. So you'll have access to our optimizer going live on August 5th with the full launch. More on that in the future as well. But you'll get all that included. Hoop, anything you wanted to add there?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of like a no-brainer. If you're someone that is, someone that typically pays for content, I mean, this is the most affordable, best value in the industry. We talk about it, every week, and we're not bullshitting. I mean, you can go around and look at some of the other price tags. Like, you are not going to get all this for a cheaper price. I mean, this is the game plan. This is what we're sticking with. This is the plan moving forward. This is the plan all along, to keep it cheap, affordable, and offer the best value in the industry. And that's what we're doing. And, we have the results to back it up. And it's not just from us, it's from our community. You look around the industry last night. What was the rest of the industry celebrating? Oh, we told you to bet Davis Thompson at 22-1. We told you that he was going to be the one to win the event, but I don't know if I bet it or not because I don't have the receipts to back it up, but I think I told you to bet it. So either of these guys are at the point now where they actually aren't betting their stuff, or they're too ashamed to point out the fact that maybe they only bet $5 or $10 on it. I mean, absolute joke. It's every week now. Everyone, I had the winner. I picked 30 guys to win, and one of them hit, and this guy finished top 20 and this guy finished top 10, and I told you so. Absolute joke. I mean, absolute joke what people are celebrating. You come here and you celebrate real wins for the community. And guess what? If you didn't win this week, you have a chance next week. The community, our group has your back every single week, and the results are big, and the results are paying dividends for the SHIPIT Nation community. And it's going to continue to be the case moving forward. Real things to celebrate over here, not just the fake. I told you to bet a guy at 22-1 to win the freaking event.
Yeah, talk about paying dividends. I do want to call this out quickly because not enough people know about it. Not enough sites around the industry do it. I think this is a great thing from our business perspective, is trying to give back. We talk about this all the time. So the code FREE15 gets anybody or you want to get set up with a free week that they can try everything out, even the Discord, everything that goes with it, all the sports. But just one thing I wanted to show off quickly, because I know our guy Lee Aldrich, some others are doing tons with this. But if you go onto the site here, and you go under the 3 dots, anybody can do this, doesn't matter who you are. And you go down and you click affiliates right there. It just looks like a place to sign in, but at the bottom it says register. I'm logged in, so I'm going to show you mine in a second and show you how it works. But if you register, it's free to do so. You now get an affiliate link where you can promote the site. Most places you win, then you go promote it, and just the business wins. There's nothing for the customer or the person in the community that gets back. If you go sign up to be an affiliate, we approve it. You then get your dashboard. I've got mine up here. I'm not using it because I'm not an affiliate with the site, right? Obviously, being one of the co-founders, I don't need to push a code or do anything like that, but I just want to note it. If you have an affiliate link when you sign up, you can actually post this link, let people know to use code FREE15, and if they like it and they stick around, you will make 20% of everything they ever give to SHIPIT Nation for life. So former business colleagues are still making money from us. We appreciate the continued support. Some different influencers, content creators, people like that out there are making money. But if you are making no money and just doing a show randomly, you can promote SHIPIT Nation and all that it is that we have to offer. You will make 20% recurring revenue as long as the person signed up for a general monthly payment that someone's making. If you're a monthly member, it typically takes, depending on your payment, 4 or 5 people to sign up under your code or with your link in order for you to pay for yourself and just be in the community for free. So don't want to spend too much time on it, but definitely want to make sure everybody knows that if you're not an affiliate, you have a reason to be one. And when you can use that code right now and promote the free week, if they stick around after the free week, you'll continue to make 20% of whatever they pay to SHIPIT Nation. So just something different than you see around most of the industry. Hoop, anything else you want to talk about before we get to the Scottish Open here?
Yeah, and that user or whoever signs up is tied to you forever. If they decide, oh, you know what, I love this so much, I'm going to upgrade to the annual all access package, our top plan, you get, obviously a portion, 20% of that as well. So sticks with you through the duration of that person's membership. And it's a great program. And like you said, a lot of former colleagues, a lot of industry people have taken advantage of it, and they're making pretty substantial money on the affiliate program.
Yeah, definitely a good call. Last thing is the Lister League is back. If you go to X at ToeTagginTambo, you can hop in there. The link is there. It's already over 250 people, I think, last time I looked. And then it just tells you a little bit more about the free week trial. But if you want to get in, it's very reduced rate. I'll just say that. Let's hop into this Scottish Open. Let's get to it here, Hoop. This is probably where my mic will go eventually. But peeked ahead, the little cheat code that I did was just Rory McIlroy, 11-9. So not quite 12 or 12-5. Xander right there with him, which kind of makes it interesting. I at least like that. But there is a 5K range this week. back to full field. First thoughts on that, just the pricing, how it's set up, anything you want to add there?
Looks like, I mean, I haven't built any teams, haven't looked at ownership, but it looks like a total flop in terms of the pricing this week again, which is pretty unfortunate because we always say if you're going to have the 5K range, like you need to bump these top tier prices. I mean, you need Rory to be closer to 13 and Xander definitely in the 12Ks. And, we get no one above 12K and we have the 5K range. And to me, that immediately means that all these guys up top are going to get pretty substantial ownership because I'm assuming it's going to be pretty easy to play these guys. If you can, go down, I haven't looked at the specific names in the 5K range, but assuming there's some playable guys down there, that will even further increase ownership of the top end. And it falls off pretty quickly too. I mean, you got Rory and Xander 11.9, 11.7. Then there's the $1,200 price break down to Ludwig and Morikawa at 10.3. So there's only 4 guys above 10K with a 5K range. Everyone's going to get substantial ownership at the top. Again, haven't looked at ownership, haven't looked at anything. I don't even know if ownership's probably not even out yet because the pricing just came out. But I'd imagine that these 4 guys up top will get a lot of ownership this week.
Yeah, and just to be clear too, like the 5K range, probably one of anybody that gets any ownership. It's just that makes the 6K range better players, which then allows stuff like my first take, my first look, as this is, probably Rory over Minwoo, obviously last year's winner. So you got Rory up here at 11.9, $200 more than Xander. Xander will still get ownership. Not saying that, just saying when people click one, they can either go with another guy like Ludwig and still have 6,900, or they can just drop down to a name I've heard mentioned a few times today and all over Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it already, Minwoo, and coming out the second at Rocket Mortgage, the big fist pump on.
I'm sure they're all gonna bet him and then circle jerk on Sunday when he wins it too, because they always have the guy that wins it. They always bet him, but there's no receipts to back it up.
33-1 this time, a little bit better than Davis Thompson. But,
all right, I'll stop. I know you hate when Hoop goes down that pass. I did it twice. I'm done. 2 and done.
Third time's the charm. I don't mind. I actually don't mind. I just said I think you're way too nice, and I know it irks you, but I think it's also just something that I've seen for so long that I'm just past it now. It's like what they'll say is, but I did put it out into the public beforehand, which is true. Yeah. So you did call it, and your card says 6 people, and I get all that, and it'll return 6 or 7 to 1. That's all standard stuff. It's all good things. That's why I kind of got away from the betting side a little bit with the fantasy golf degenerates. I was sort of forced into having to talk through my bets and all this stuff. It's just not for me. I personally would rather get after it in the DFS streets. I love it. I love the game. I love the strategy. I love the process of building lineups, all that stuff that goes together, as well as trying to take down the glory, the trophies, get it all right. But, with this said, Hoop, to your point, if you just go with a couple of these guys, you're definitely going to be able to build lineups like this, just no problem whatsoever. So we'll have to look at some different strategy as we get closer to Wednesday, just to be a little bit different. Last week, I think it was in there. I didn't see what the exact final was for the main lottery, but a lot of 8K guys made their way up the board, and there wasn't many 8K guys being used in combination. So I think the slate plan had that covered last week pretty well. Anything else up here for thoughts between like the guys, Rory, Xander, your choice, Ludwig, Colin Morikawa, as far as the players go? Any quick thoughts on this upper 10K and above?
It's just all guys that have been playing well, and it's going to be pretty easy to play them and then probably pair them with another spend as well. So, to me, that's just like my main takeaway for sure is all these guys are going to get some degree of ownership. It probably just depends on how many cheap guys are in play, and we'll see that. We might not have that answer today. It might be more on the Wednesday show as we start digging a little deeper. But the ownership on these guys, how high it gets, I guess, is pretty dependent on how many 6K guys are viable this week. We'll see when we get down there. But my initial lean is you're going to see a lot of ownership on probably all of these guys. Rory, Xander for sure. They're always going to get ownership. And the reason I think Ludwig and Morikawa are right there as well is because you get a nice big price break to go down to those guys in this upper tier. So you're still, $1,600 from Rory down to Morikawa, $1,400, but you can play them together as well as you have on the screen here. You still got almost 7K to play Rory and Morikawa together. You still have 7K per spot. All these guys are going to get, some ownership up top, probably pretty substantial, I'd say.
Yeah, you can go on Fantasy Labs. They have contest dashboard. You can go back and see any contest you want. And we do it during the NFL season when we do our review show. If you go back and check like other lineups, you're able to see what people put in so that you can actually see if you didn't enter the contest, still what was in there. So it actually is possible to be done. Rory, Cow, I was looking at some of these ones too. We'll see. Let's just do this. Let's go through the next range. And then when we get down there, I want to see when we get to the 6K range, what these lineups look like. We'll circle back and do like a bottom up build. But it seems pretty clear you're going to be able to play two of these guys up top, no problem whatsoever. What do you think of this next range, this 9K range where you've got Fleetwood down to Fitzpatrick? We are limited back to the 6-guy 9K range, but any quick thoughts on this 9K range here?
The quick thought for sure. I mean, really, I haven't looked, and the one thing that definitely pops in my mind, people are going to find a way to get to that upper tier opposed to settling here. So I think we do see a lot of double spends in the way of two guys over 10K. I think we see a lot of that this week because there's going to be a drop off in a lot of people's eyes, going from Morikawa to Fleetwood, going from Morikawa to even Hovland, who's been pretty spotty all season long. Like, people are going to really want to get in the 10K and above range opposed to settling down here. Now, some of these guys will get ownership for sure, but looking at this, I think the ownership on those guys in the 10K range even higher than I probably initially thought, because people are going to want to get up there. You got Matsuyama has been playing pretty well. You talked about the Minwoo, you talked about the Fitzpatrick. People are going to see Tom Kim at 9,500 and probably say no thanks. Like, that's a big boy price tag for Tom Kim coming off the missed cut at the Rocket Mortgage. They're going to say, oh, I can just spend $800 more and get to Morikawa. I'm in. So this range, I probably does get squeezed a little bit just because of how big of a drop off in talent I think it is from the 10Ks down to the 9s.
Yeah, and do people really want to click some of these buttons? Well, these names will come up. Like, I saw people already betting Tom Kim, for example, but do they want to pay $9,500 for him when it's just a little bit more to go up to like Morikawa, Oberg, situational stuff like that? Fleetwood, definitely. I heard the chat. Someone said I locked Fleetwood. So, people are loving this range. Also, Hockey Experience brings this up. What happened in Fantasy Golf World Championship again? Remember, you beat me for the seat at the Genesis. I was like, damn, I got second, but I made some money in the Mega. How many seats did you end up with in Fantasy Golf World Championship to start? 2 or 3?
2. Just 2. Yeah, 2.
Yeah, Hoop and I are battling it out in this one too. We're trying to get after it. So he had some lineups in the top 50. I had 4 in the top 100, but you gotta come first, like our guy J.M. Barrera, who got the job done and won it. So the contests are out again. King of the Desert should be a fun one. They did post more contests this week. They have a $945 single entry, $945 buy-in. They have a $48 13 max. And then they brought back the same $154 max and the $11. Those are kind of the ones I like to attack at least early in the season, unless again, as you should too, if you have a beat on a week and you feel pretty good about it, then you can attack it. But I feel like we're going to have a lot of opportunity as this thing goes for a while, right up to near February, I believe. So lots of opportunity to get after these King of the Desert ones.
Yeah.
Tend to agree with you here, Hoop. I just think that's the case when you've got Hovland, Kim, Matsuyama. At least those 3, I think Fleetwood and Minwoo will be where people are wanting to go. And I just want to see quickly, like Fleetwood Minwoo gives you 7,700. So I think this would be kind of the balanced build, right? I don't know how many people are going to shove somebody else in over the top. But just to see that, if it is like a Morikawa, I guess this is the take.
I mean, it's just going to depend. I mean, I haven't looked. I'm assuming you haven't looked. It just depends what's down there. Like, what are we getting in that 6K range? That's going to be the key to all these teams. Like, what is viable in the 6K range? Do we have some egregiously priced 6K guys? Then you're going to start seeing more of this sort of thing where you put in 2 or 3 guys and you have 6,800 left and you can still comfortably fill out the rest of your lineup. I mean, this is going to be very dependent on what's in the 6K range. And I have a feeling there's going to be some good stuff down there.
Yeah, and I guess this is my angle of attack. Like, because it's a good exercise with the first look. I have no clue what's down there, but you can play Morikawa, Fleetwood, and Minwoo, and have 6,900 and need to get 3 guys with that average, or you can play Rory Oberg and have to do the exact same thing, but have to pull a 4th guy.
Yeah. My initial lean is I think it's going to be more of that, just because people like those names way more than the 9K guys.
Yeah. And have to assume, I mean, this is the next conversation piece, but like the 8K range, it's not huge again. Like there's not many in there, but just in general, it's been going overlooked all season, right? And it's partly because of everything we just talked about. So regardless of if people love these names or not, my early thought would be that this goes overlooked. What is your take on this 8K range here? And just quick, Andrew talks about in the chat. It's like people don't give a shit about top fives. Go look at the chat in the you're in Discord. Go look at PGA betting. People think Aaron Rye's winning this week. Like they did, but he's playing so well. No, he lost his chance to win at the Rocket Mortgage. And you go to the Fleetwood, 13th, 20th, 21st, 16th, 15th. It's close enough, right? People just go off that. Making cuts, fits it, sets up well, and then he's got a 6th, 4th, and a 2nd in the last 4 years playing here on top of a 26. So Fleetwood can be popular. That's just no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, he will, but I do think when you get in this 8K range, people are going to come here and look, now that I see the names, and say, there's just not that much of a difference between some of these guys in the 8Ks versus the 9s. Like, what's the difference between Corey Connors and Tommy Fleetwood? Like, to me, not much. Like, I don't know, you probably get the same thing. I mean, these guys have been living around 20th place all season long, making all the cuts. Like, to me, I don't see much of a difference between a guy like Fleetwood and Connors. Justin Thomas coming off finally a pretty good finish, the 5th at the Travelers. Is there much difference between him and, Tom Kim or Matsuyama? Like, people will sell themselves on JT. Sungjae continues to play very solid golf, T12 or better in 4 out of 5. Aaron Rye playing very solid as well, as you mentioned. 8,300, hasn't gotten the win, but at 8,300, his ass doesn't need to get the win to be the guy that we want in DFS. So I think after looking at this range, I think the 9s probably get squeezed. I mean, I really do. I mean, that's definitely my take, because you can really sell yourself on 4 or 5 guys in the 8K range that are just very similar plays to those guys in the 9K range. So where the 8Ks have gotten squeezed recently, I think it could be the 9Ks this week after seeing this 8K range.
Yeah, Sungjae, Rye, people always like.
They're going to feel comfortable with that stuff. They're going to feel comfortable with those guys for sure. And the price tags, 8,500, 8,300, playing great golf. People, they're just going to like that. It's going to feel like a safe clip for a lot of people.
And just of note, like I don't think people are getting excited about these other ones, but some of the names there, Thigala, Wyndham Clark, Spieth, like there's still names in that range. I still think it's going to be these top guys, and then people will pick and choose who they go with in here. But I think more than putting them together, we're going to see people selecting like who's their guy versus will they play them all together. There is interesting builds probably like this, right? If you go from what we talked about earlier, you actually have even more that you can spend. And instead of like Ludwig and a 7K guy, you can go with Rye, Im, and then only need 3 guys and actually get an extra 200 per guy remaining on your average. So I definitely think like a top play could be Morikawa with, Sungjae, Rye, 7,600 now. That's balanced, but is it? Like you said, if you feel that those 8K guys aren't that much worse than the 9s, and you feel like Morikawa can take down those top dudes. I know I just showed it with Rory, works just the same with 7,100, but whoever your guy is up here, the less you go, the more you're picking it up. But Ludwig, Sungjae, Rye, pretty solid. And then, and that's what Hockey Experience just said, then drop to the 8Ks with a low 7. Yeah, you have mid 7s to spend. So you may be able to get another. You can get whatever you want, I'm saying, but you people may want to go to another 8K, but there's a lot of different builds so far, and then we'll see what these 6s bring. But the 6
is key. I mean, that's the key to all this stuff. Like, what is in the 6K range? I haven't looked. You haven't looked. I mean, that really is the true determining factor in what sort of builds we see this week.
Another part of this exercise that makes it real easy. I can already tell you the 6s are going to be pretty good. You know why? Because I can see from 7,900 to 7,200 on just one little screen. So we're almost through the 7K range with one click scroll of a button. So the 6s are going to be packed, and there's tons of guys down there. But give me your thoughts on this 7K range we got showing here, Hoop. Any quick thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, Davis Thompson, obviously coming off the win, 7,900. He's a guy that a lot of people have been comfortable playing. A lot of people years ago shied away from guys that won. Like, if they won, it's auto fade the next week. I think people have gotten away from that a little bit, which is probably the right move. 7,900. Like, you don't need the guy to win. Can he keep this momentum and finish top 15? Like, man, I think he can. He might be good player. Max Homa, man, just has not been good at all. I tried to make it. Was it at the Travelers? I can't remember. Tried to make it work. It just, he is not him. He is not him, as the kids say nowadays. Sepp Straka, definitely like Sepp Straka back in like the sevens, opposed to being like one of the more expensive guys on the slate. 7,600, he's fine. Seabass kind of stands out to me as a play. Siwoo Kim, Alex Noren, cheapest we've seen him, but he's missed cut in 3 out of 4 after being very steady. I don't think people are going to love that. Denny McCarthy at 7-4. Have to imagine he gets quite a bit of ownership here. Anytime you see a guy expensive the week before and he does all right, and then the price just, he's $3,000 cheaper. Have to imagine he gets some ownership at 7-4. Adam Scott, 7-3. We've talked about him a lot on the show. Tends to outscore his finishing position. 73. You just need him to, if you can get into the top 20. Keith Mitchell kind of stands out. I don't know. I don't think there's anything in this range where it's like, I have to have that guy, right? Like, I don't know. Like, there's just, it's all a bunch of ho-hum plays to me. And I'm going to definitely play guys in this range, but nothing stands out as, this is the dude here, I guess, is my takeaway from the sevens.
I'm just trying to look back here for a second on Straka. It's actually funny because they let a nugget slip there on the show when they talked about the trophy house. Did you hear about that? Where they all stayed at the same place, the third year in a row now with JT Poston, then Straka, and now Davis Thompson. And Davis Thompson was the first one there. He took Straka's room and then goes out and wins. But they said Straka didn't go because he has a 6-month-old at home. And so I wonder, I just went back and look, like if you look now, it's July 8th. So, we're talking early Jan. Who knows when the actual date was? That's about 6 months. But a lot of miscuts and 57ths. Finally gets, a little bit of rest in him, and he comes back at the Players, the Masters, RBC, comes back with it a little bit. T5, T8, T5, finally gets it together, and now it's slipping a little bit again there. Maybe the 6-month mark is a bit much for him, but he's cheap now again, 7,600. He was 10-4 last week. I do like your take though in this range. Just again, pretty standard, but I wouldn't get attached to too many guys here. I think there's a lot of similarities between them at early glance. I think people do go back to the winner. I think Benny Ann, Straka, Bez, Siwoo, Noren, McCarthy, Mitchell, like that's the 6 names that would stand out to me for the entire 7K range. So maybe you do get like a Bobby Mack, a Max Homa, Adam Scott, Billy Horschel, guys like that can go overlooked. And then at the bottom, it's just, not going to be popular for Horschel. Dietrich, I don't think. Hoagie, I can't see very many of these guys getting super popular. And then our guy, Rin, I didn't see him in here yet today. Maybe he's here somewhere, but EVR down at 7K. So anybody else there that you saw before we hop into these 6s and really take a look?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on the guys, but, nothing stands out as, being the guy that you need or the guy that I'm like locked in on early in the week. And again, things could change the deeper we dive into it, but, nothing stands out to me. To me, like I said, just a bunch of ho-hum type plays here.
Yeah, I just want to see quickly. You can do quite a bit with something like that. Yeah. I'm not going to finish it, but I'm just again, not something I love. I just want to show what people are talking about early and what it could probably turn into. So I could definitely see lineups like that where that becomes popular. We'll have to wait and see what the projections spit out when we get them live on the site. The initials will be out Tuesday as usual, and then we'll be able to see more of what the sort of optimal lineup construction is popping out like and see how we can attack that. But 6K range, here we are, Hoop, and this was all the chatter earlier, right? Zalatoris, he, what was it? Round 3, he WD'd when we were there live, right? It was early in round 3, WD'd, said it was the back, but I don't know. Now, he's down to 6,900. Your boy Pavant is down here. Hogard, 40% owned at the FGWC just a couple of weeks ago and did not really do well, but still almost 70 points, 14 birdies on that setup. I should say this too. Someone mentioned earlier, the Scottish Open and Links style over there just reminds me of the American Links style when people make fun of that. It's like the wind still controls everything. If there's a ton of wind and shitty weather, it's going to be high scoring. If it's really no wind at all and it's fine, then guys can still go low. Like guys know how to play on these, these surfaces like this. It's not going to be something I would worry about as much. And our guy Kyle, go collect. Shout out to him. He's got us covered here. 40 guys in the 6K range. So yeah. Here's the guys who. What are some that stand? I mean, Ben Griffin almost won on Sunday.
Yeah. So you're gonna. Yeah. We talked about it a little bit ago. Like roster construction and the ownership on those guys specifically up top going to be dependent on what you see down here. And I see a lot of names that people will feel comfortable clicking this week. And even starting at Zalatoris at 69, it's been a disaster. And honestly, I don't even know if I'll get there this week. I got to dig a little deeper, but it's a name in the 6K range. People are going to like that. Pavon at 69. The nice thing about him is he has the upside to get all the way up there. He had the 5th of the U.S. Open, 16th at the Travelers, 6,900. People are going to like that. People always like the Højgaards. Ferguson coming off the win at 67. He will get ownership. Matthew Wallace will get ownership. Ben Griffin. People will be fine going Adam Hadwin. People will click on Justin Rose, Eckroat, Hubbard, Eric Cole, Seamus Power, Hisasune. People are always playing him. He's 6,300. He'll get some ownership down there. That'll be a comfortable click. Sam Stevens, Lucas Glover, Gim, Novak, Mackenzie Hughes, Taylor Moore at 6,100, Lee Hodges at 61, Andrew Putnam at 6K. This is just first glance, just rattling off guys that I think people will play in this range that will get some ownership. Tons of ownership's going to the top after seeing this range. There's just no doubt about it. You're going to be able to do whatever you want this week, and that means people are going to go all the way to the top and get the guys they feel most comfortable with. What I just read off, maybe 15 to 20 names at first glance, and I think all those guys are going to be, like I said, comfortable clicks for people, which in turn will mean you can get whatever you want. It's all-star week. You're going to have all-star teams. You're going to build these teams, and you're going to say, man, how can this team lose? And that just means all the ownership, those guys at the top are going to get a ton of ownership.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. I think that's, it's hard to follow up. Even people catch on now, like Ferguson won overseas. So you'll see that, I don't think any of these guys get out of control as of right now. We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. I definitely think there was balanced builds that maybe only need one of these guys. So if it ends up being like the guys that get the boost, you mentioned earlier, a lot of people have been playing Rio. And if you look at what he's done, hasn't been the worst. It's not incredible, but it's fine for this. And you look at some of the tournaments it's been in, maybe people discount that some, but his price is down. So if you look, just an example, him, you can go back to even the 8K range we were in with Rai and Sung Jae. Yeah.
You're going to get 5. You play one cheap guy, you get 5 legit golfers, right? You just put in 6,300. You can get, even if you stay in that 8-ish K range, people like Sahith or whoever it is, you can get 5 legit guys if you go cheap in one spot.
Yeah, look at this. I just use Straka. It could be Noren, it could be Mitchell, it could be Siwoo, McCarthy. Like we said, we know the 5-6 names early on, but if you're going with that and just using Ryan M as the example, if you pick your poison down low, and I just gave Rio the shot, you have 9,700 left. You can get a 7K and then go all the way up. You could do a ton of different stuff. So I think it's going to be very popular just to see builds like that. This is, again, first look early on. We'll be back on Wednesday covering even more, but I think just looking at it, that stands out to me right away. People will be very comfortable. So it will spread it out some here because of that, but it also could land, to me, that just, this is the difference. What people always talk about, what I always talk about is I don't necessarily just want to say, oh, but I can get unique down low. We all know that. But if you're on the exact same roster constructions over and over and over, that's why I like to build in sets, is because then I can get different roster constructions. Just saying, when Mayo and I build on Wednesdays, we always start with what does the most popular lineup look like? And then it's but if we just pivot Rory to Xander, it's slightly different. Yeah, it is, but it's not really. We didn't do anything. You just went same build, the same build. With one different guy. And it can work. I'm just saying in general, I'm going to be looking at different constructions. So to me, I'm going to have to wait and see how everything shakes out as the week goes on, what those optimals look like. But really, there's lots of guys here, Hoop, that people are seeing come down in price. Rio, Kevin Yu, Sam Stevens, Glover, Gim, just Novak. By the way, never forget, Novak was dead, even with a 67, but he was 3 over through 2 or something. He was proclaimed dead. Yeah. And then managed to come back and finish T7, scoring almost 125 points. So more fun Thursday Discord stuff. My favorite. But just wanted to bring that up. Hodges really hurt some feelings. last week over the weekend. I know that people were mad he made the cut, but got them no points. Putnam. There's a lot of guys here. Is there anybody in the 5Ks you want to talk about? That's the next thing.
Yeah, just going through. I mean, I think there's playable guys. Grazerman, 5,900. He's been playing well. Chandler Phillips at 57, and people have been clicking his name. Not the greatest result last week, T44, but 5,700. Valimaki, 5,700. I mean, I think that's a name people will consider. Ben Coles, 5,600. He's a name that people probably will click. Again, these guys aren't going to get like crazy ownership or anything, but they're names that people would feel comfortable playing. Just going down, there's not much else down there, but I think there are, 3 or 4 guys that are, in play this week. And again, that just continues to push up the ownership for the guys up top. I mean, you play one guy at 56, I just put in Coles, you got almost $9,000 per spot left. Like, you're getting 5 very, very legit golfers in there. So, yeah, it's again, these teams are gonna look very, very nice when you build them this week, all-star teams, and you're gonna feel very confident in the teams you build because of this pricing structure.
Yeah, people like Matty Southgate here.
Yeah.
The 4th recently did not. I mean, miscut the last 2 years here and withdrew the miscut. So interesting. Like, again, people see one good finish and hop right on. But I will bring that up because someone said it was our guy Hockey Experience, been in here the whole day, but says how important is course history. I don't think very much at all, but again, that's just my natural take. But I'll give an example. Like Morikawa, you're going to find out because Morikawa is on fire, but he's only played it twice, 2022 and 21, had a miscut and a 71st. Ludwig, solid right now, looked good all season pretty much. Played it once last year, missed the cut. Max Homa, the opposite, horrible form, played this the last 2 years and came 12th and 16th. Strength of field matters as well. Like everyone's saying, oh, but Aaron Rai, this is his time, got to hop on now. Right? I think he missed his win. I was there at Rocket Mortgage last week when he probably should have won and then didn't, or at least really could have. And even yesterday, I know he could have done a lot, but birdie fests are tougher. And so was the Rocket Mortgage. So don't get me wrong there. I'm just saying he really felt like he was in the mix there. The shot on, was it 14 or 7, whatever that par 5, where he took it right up onto the green and messed that up too. Like he had opportunities for days, but they're like, oh, but this is the spot for him, man. He wears 2 gloves and he won here before. He won here in a year that did not have Morikawa, Rory, Ludwig, Xander, Hovland, Tom Kim, Matsuyama, Justin Thomas, Harman, Connors, even the mid-ground guys like Thigala, Homa, Clark, Straka. It had nobody here. This guy couldn't close out the Rocket Mortgage and the John Deere Classic, and he's coming out to win this thing because he won it in 2020? No, that's not how it works. And betting him at 45-1, I didn't mean to be mean to people, but I was just saying, I would be, someone says my first click, I said it'd be my last click.
You can just put it out there and then, you don't have to back it up. Like you just throw out all your bets, throw out 50 of them, man. Throw out 50 winners this week. And if you hit it, you get to victory lap it on Sunday. That's how it works.
You throw in 49 other guys on the list.
Yeah, you just got to mix in some top 20s and top 10 bets as well. And you're well on your way. So you get about 75 bets in there. You hit the one, golden. You get that victory lap on Sunday with the crew.
And this one gets confused all the time, too. Actually, again, I don't care about course history. I think what Daly's saying, though, here is course form. And we have course fit rankings for this reason. You want to know who does better? That's obviously what Lee puts into those. His secret sauce. Our guy Lee Aldrich got him over there on the site. They'll be out Monday afternoon, evening, like always. But that's more important to me, course fit, than it is the course history. Because, again, you're talking about usually, like at this event, 2 or 3 times of the last 3 years you're going to say, oh, but they were good at this course. But all these other factors still matter, and it's not really a good sample size. So I want to see more long-term on similar types of courses or who would fit this style of course versus just the course history on this. And course fit rankings have been on fire if you take them over the entire season. So I think that's going to be the key. Keep an eye on that. Roll off. And I can't wait for Aaron Rai to pop number 1 on those. That'll be the telltale sign. But we've had some ones crush and win. Davis Riley and Thigala, or Bhatia, sorry. Thigala was another week that he was good. Taylor Pendrith was good one week, but we've had some ones fail as well. So there's our guy Shalhoub. What's up, man?
Yep.
How you doing?
Yep. Shalhoub makes the appearance. Congrats on the big week. And
huge
again,
week.
One of the nicest guys I met in Detroit. Such a good guy. So it was cool to meet him and everyone else. And obviously our guy Go Collect was there. It was a fun week, and man, very, very rewarding to kind of meet everyone out there. Can't wait to do it again.
And he can't wait to tilt over Rye going back to form and hitting 16 pars. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, and we'll see. Because remember, the thing about him is he has to make those putts. Eventually, those might stop dropping in. But I called it, I trademarked it. # Rye guy. I've been a Rye guy for a while. And he just doesn't do well at the strong field. I mean, I shouldn't say this. He does well 19th, 33rd, 35th, 39th. It's when you've got all these top tier players showing up. He's not really fitting in with that grouping yet. Maybe he will. Someone said till it's happened. I think his best is T19 at like majors, players, some of these top ones. I know people say, but RBC Canadian was a certain, or RBC Heritage was a signature or whatever. Yeah, like fine, but honestly, just overall to me, it's different. So
it's actually funny. I just looked over because before the show, I always just randomly click names to build a lineup, just so I can go back and when we talk through it during the show, and your boy Rye is in the lineup of random clicks, just literally random. Didn't look at the names. Your boy Rye is in that lineup.
There you go. He won't be my boy this week. I can tell you that. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure I'll play. It's again, not who you play. It's how you play him. I just have a hard time. The one thing I will say, and we hit on it enough, but is like you said, at least he's priced right. Someone said this today too, is like, that was my take. I don't want to bet him at 45 or 55 to 1. I just don't see him winning this tournament ever, let alone, in those odds. But even with ownership in DFS, people say, but I don't want to play him because he's so high owned. I'll find ways to get different with him. I think the benefit to DFS is at least he's priced in where if he does show up with just the 33rd place, that can still be more than enough and be perfect to make things work. So it's different in DFS than it is for betting, but the take was for the record, let it state, it was in the PGA betting channel that this conversation was had. I said he would not be my first click for that. And yeah, definitely didn't help us yesterday, Shaloub, that he just crushed us there. And yeah, there's guys like Thigala, Homa, who else? Your boy, Bobby Mack. These guys are all the same odds. These are boom.
My boy.
But at least when they boom, they win. I want them to win. That's what I'm talking about for betting. I like that better.
Yeah, we got to see. NFL is coming back. Very excited. And, we talked about it in the opening. Big announcement coming later this week in regards to the SHIPIT Nation NFL packages that'll be dropping. So make sure you guys tune in. But yeah, it could be, might have to get on Dak early. Dak made us a lot of money last year. A lot of money. Got to analyze the situation this year. But they have Zeke back though, right? Isn't he back in Dallas? That might take away from it a little bit. We'll see.
Any take on Rory after the U.S. Open disaster? What was it like? Again, Brian's from overseas. I give Rory some credit. I stuck up for him a little bit on this. I think he should have stuck around. Should have gave his props. He should have done his thing. But realistically, what was the disaster? I mean, he missed the 2-3 putts, but he's still second place. Like after all these years, it's like, that's what I don't get. Someone comes, second at a live final. Are they a piece of shit, or did they win $600,000 and they're still amazing at what they do? It's like, yeah, it's a disaster. It didn't go their way. He's did what he could.
I have a little bit of a different take on that. I mean, when you're Rory McIlroy, the standards are a little bit different. Like, and he's got this thing on his back that he can't win the majors anymore. And you miss 2 little dinky putts down the stretch. I mean, it is a bad look, and you pull that bus out of there as soon as possible and don't congratulate the winner.
I don't think he doesn't deserve the flag he's getting. I'm fine with that. I get why he wanted to get out of there. I mean, he just pieced his marriage back together, whatever was going on with that, all the other things. But this is obvious, but this happens in every sport. There's teams, people lose. Again, he just gets shit because it's been so long, but it's not like he hasn't been doing other stuff. He's won a ton of tournaments. He's won FedEx Cups. He's won the Players. He's won all kinds of stuff along the way. It's another blown opportunity, and that's just how you're going to have to deal with it. But when people talk about it like he's some piece of shit, it's like the guy is still one of the best golfers in the entire world, and he just lost the opportunity. He has to deal with it. He lost it. I don't give a shit. I don't get no credit if Rory wins a major. I'm just telling you the facts. That's what happened, and he'll probably be right back. Last time this happened was the Masters, where I posted last week. Everyone was giving him shit again about, Akshay Bhatia at 22 after giving away the Rocket Mortgage is such a hero for doing an interview because Rory's a piece of shit. But then you go find the interview, Rory at 21 after giving away the Masters, a major, did his interview and said he'd be back and then went and won the next major by 8 strokes. So it can all change in a dime. Xander sucked, was never going to close until he won the major. Now he's everybody's hero again. Like, this is golf, this is content, this is media. It's the way it goes. So
for sure.
I think it's fine. I think Rory will be just fine. I don't think he cares as much as people do about him. He cares about winning these majors, guaranteed. But that's why he bailed. The feelings, the emotions, that shows that he cares. But I don't think he cares about your feelings, about his feelings as much as you do. Anything else?
No, I like hockey experience. It's a path he might need to. He probably went that path and realized, oh shit, I gotta get back home to the wife and daughter. He probably realized that rather quickly it might not be his way to go.
This is the other one too. Yeah, see, there's the Davis Thompson is another prime example. Can't get the job done until he does. Now he's not going to lose again this year. He's the next guy. I know Ross is playing around, but just funny to set it up this way. I think that's going to be the thing. So I don't know. I have a lot of fun with it. I think this is a great stretch. I love these next 2 weeks. I love this type of golf. I love overseas. I love late night, etc. All the early mornings, whatever it might be for you. But if you want to check it out, you can do so now. Get in over at SHIPIT Nation. Go to the monthly for $69 a month. Put in the free week trial with the code FREE15. That'll get you all access as long as you do it by tomorrow night. When it expires, it expires. People come back and ask me, I'll say, oh, can I try it out again? Yeah. Like, if you can get it, get in. We'll give you plenty of time. It's been on X or Twitter. I posted it out. Hoops posted it out. Our whole team. It's here on this show. We'll talk about it on our other shows before tomorrow evening. But you only have till tomorrow evening. It takes 2 minutes to go do it. And then you can play around with it later tonight when you get home from work or whatever it might be. But it's worth checking out. Even if you just take the education courses, download the audio, keep them for yourself, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of good things that you can do over at the site. So I think that's it, Hoop. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, now, obviously NFL is right around the corner. Now is a good time to kind of take a look at what we have to offer. You get to do it, a week essentially for free. And again, we think you're going to love it. I mean, so many people last time we ran this, hopped in, tried the free week, and like, oh man, I found my home now. This is a spot I want to be, and they've been with us ever since. Upgraded to bigger packages, more long-term packages. Now is probably the last chance to get a free peek before NFL starts. So it's perfect time to check it all out. Very proud of what we built. And if you do choose to stay on board, obviously the price is industry low in terms of affordability and value that you're going to get. So free week 15 is the code. I think that you'll love the content over here.
Yeah, and we did get the MMA optimizer up now too. So Shiptimizer is the optimizer designed to help you ship. We work with our partnership to get this thing set up so that we could get you guys as much as possible. We got more coming in around the corner, and then NFL and NFL Showdown is ready to go as well. Our guy Illini fan says anyone who has waited to take the plunge, get in. It's the best site, the best tools, and an awesome Discord community. And that's right, the MMA education course coming up too. Our guys Title and Marley are going to be recording that right now. If you go to education, you'll be able to see we've got the MLB, the PGA, the NBA, and the NFL. Even if you just come in for the free week, check out the Discord, download those courses, you're going to at least get something out of your free week trial that you can just look back on and use to your advantage. So lots of good things. Appreciate everybody. We'll be back on Wednesday to break down our final thoughts, have all the content up on the site from then, everything that goes with that. It's going to do it for this one, though, guys. For Hoop, for myself, ToeTagginTambo, let's ship it.